I was sitting in my small one-bedroom apartment when I opened the envelope from my ex-wife's lawyer. The letter demanded I triple my child support from $1,200 to $3,600 a month. Jessica claimed our 7-year-old daughter Emma needed it for private tutoring, dance classes, and medical expenses. I stared at that number, feeling my chest tighten. I loved my daughter more than anything, but something about this did not add up. Why now? Why so much? Before I tell you what happened next, I want to know where you are watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you have ever dealt with a difficult ex or a legal battle that made you question everything, hit that like button and subscribe, because this story is going to take some wild turns. Trust me, you will want to see how this plays out. Jessica and I met at a coffee shop in Denver, Colorado, when we were both 23 years old. She had this infectious laugh and these big dreams about traveling the world and living a life full of adventure. I was a construction manager, steady income, nothing fancy. We got married, bought a small house, and then Emma came along. Those first few years were good, really good. But somewhere around year 5, things shifted. Jessica started wanting more. Designer handbags, expensive vacations, a bigger house in a better neighborhood. I worked hard, pulled overtime, but it was never enough. She would scroll through Instagram looking at influencers with their perfect lives and say things like, "Why cannot we have that?" I would remind her we were doing fine. We had a roof over our heads, food on the table, and a healthy daughter. But fine was not good enough for her. The arguments became constant. Every dinner conversation turned into a debate about money. Every weekend was ruined by her complaints about our boring life. I suggested marriage counseling. She refused. Said I was the problem, not her. 2 years ago, she filed for divorce. I was devastated, but I agreed. I just wanted Emma to grow up in peace, not in a house filled with resentment. After the divorce, I moved into this tiny apartment. It was all I could afford after giving Jessica the house and agreeing to pay part of the mortgage. Our arrangement was simple. Emma lived with Jessica during the week, and I got her every weekend. I paid $1,200 a month in child support without ever missing a payment. That money was sacred to me. It was for Emma, and I would do anything for my daughter. My life became a routine. Wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Shower, coffee, drive to the construction site. Work until 6 in the evening. Come home, eat something quick. Maybe watch a game if I had the energy. But every Friday evening, my whole world lit up when I picked up Emma from school. Those weekends were everything. We would go to the park, make pancakes together on Saturday mornings, watch movies curled up on the couch. Emma never complained about my small apartment. She was just happy to be with her dad. I worked hard to keep things stable for her. I never badmouthed Jessica in front of Emma. I made sure she knew both her parents loved her. And I always paid that $1,200 on time, no matter how tight things got. Then one Thursday evening, I came home and found the envelope in my mailbox. It was thick, official looking. I recognized the return address from Jessica's lawyer. My stomach dropped before I even opened it. Inside was a petition for modification of child support. Jessica was requesting the amount be increased to $3,600 per month. 3 times what I was already paying. I read through the reasons she listed. Private tutoring for Emma because the public school was not challenging enough. $500 a month. Dance classes and gymnastics to help with her development. $300 a month. Increased medical expenses. $200 a month. Rising cost of living. And then the kicker. Jessica claimed her income had decreased due to job instability. I sat there on my couch reading that letter over and over. Emma had never mentioned anything about tutoring. She loved her school. She talked about her teacher, her friends, the art projects they did, dance classes, gymnastics. She played soccer with kids during recess. That was it. And medical expenses. Emma was healthy. We took her for her checkup back in March. The doctor said she was perfect. I grabbed my phone and called Jessica. It went straight to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. Finally, I sent a text. "We need to talk about this child support thing." Her response came 10 minutes later. Talk to my lawyer. Emma needs more. If you love her, you will do the right thing. That message made my blood boil. Of course I loved my daughter. I would give her the world if I could. But $3,600, I made about $5,000 a month after taxes. My rent was $1,300. Utilities were $200. Groceries, gas, car insurance. By the time I paid everything, I barely had anything left. If I paid $3,600 in child support, I would have nothing. I would lose this apartment. I would be living in my truck. But the guilt ate at me. What if Emma really did need those things? What if I was being selfish? I lay awake that entire night staring at the ceiling trying to figure out what to do. That weekend I picked up Emma like always. She jumped in my truck with her backpack all smiles. We drove to our favorite burger place, and while we were eating, I decided to ask her some questions. Casual, not wanting to scare her. So how is school going, kiddo? It is good, Dad. We did art today. I painted a butterfly. That is awesome. Do you like your teacher? Yeah. Miss Sanders is really nice. She let me help pass out papers. I took a bite of my burger, trying to keep my voice light. Have you ever thought about doing tutoring after school? Like extra help with math or reading? Emma looked at me confused. What? No, Dad. I do not need help. I got an A on my spelling test. Right. That is great. What about dance or gymnastics? Would you want to try that? She shrugged. I do not know. Maybe. But I like playing soccer with Mia and Alyssa at recess. Can I do that instead? Of course you can, sweetheart. She went back to her fries completely unbothered. But my mind was racing. She had no idea about any tutoring or dance classes. Jessica had made it all up. Later that night, after I put Emma to bed, I did something I had avoided for months. I opened Facebook and searched for Jessica's profile. We were not friends anymore, but her profile was public. I scrolled through her recent posts, and what I saw made my stomach turn. There were photos from just 2 weeks ago. Jessica at a fancy restaurant downtown. The kind of place where entrees cost $50. She was dressed in a designer outfit I had never seen before. And she was not alone. There was a man sitting next to her. Tall, clean cut, wearing an expensive suit. The caption read, "Living my best life. Grateful for everything." I clicked on the man's profile. His name was Derek. His profile was full of pictures that screamed money. A BMW in his driveway. Photos from a ski trip in Aspen. A Rolex on his wrist. His bio said he was the CEO of a tech startup in Denver. I kept scrolling. More pictures of Jessica and Derek. A weekend getaway in the mountains. Dinner at another high-end restaurant. Jessica holding a Gucci handbag I knew cost more than my monthly rent. My hands were shaking. Jessica claimed she was struggling financially. She said her income had dropped. But here she was, living like a millionaire. I searched Derek's name on Google. Articles popped up about his company. He had recently sold part of his startup for several $1,000,000. LinkedIn showed he had studied at Stanford and worked at Google before starting his own business. Everything clicked into place. Jessica was dating a rich guy. She was living a life of luxury. And she wanted me to pay triple child support so they could keep funding that lifestyle. I could not sleep. I spent hours going through every social media post, taking screenshots, saving everything. By 3 in the morning, I had a folder full of evidence. Monday morning, I called a family law attorney. His name was Mr. Patterson. I explained the situation, and he told me to come in that afternoon. Mr. Patterson's office was small but professional. He reviewed all the documents I brought. The divorce agreement, the current child support order, the letter demanding the increase. And then I showed him the photos from social media. He leaned back in his chair, rubbing his chin. 3 times the current amount is extreme. They need to provide evidence of actual expenses. But this is interesting. He tapped the photo of Jessica and Derek at the restaurant. If she is living with someone who has significant income, that could be relevant to the case. I think he is supporting her, I said. They travel together. She is wearing clothes and carrying bags that cost thousands of dollars. Mr. Patterson nodded. We can request financial disclosure. If Jessica is not actually incurring these expenses for Emma, the court will not grant the increase. But you need to gather more evidence. Find out if Emma is really enrolled in those tutoring classes. Get confirmation from the school. Talk to her doctor about the medical expenses. What will this cost me? I asked, already knowing it would not be cheap. A $2,500 retainer to start. I felt sick, but I nodded. I would use my emergency savings. This was worth it. Over the next 2 weeks, I became a detective. I went to Emma's school and talked to the secretary, a kind woman named Mrs. Clark, who I had gotten to know over the years. Hi, Mrs. Clark. Quick question. Is Emma enrolled in any after-school tutoring programs? She looked at me surprised. Tutoring? No, sir. Emma is doing wonderful in class. She is one of our top students. No tutoring needed. What about dance or gymnastics? Does the school offer those? We have a basic PE program, but nothing specialized like that. I thanked her and left my suspicions confirmed. Next, I called Emma's pediatrician office. I explained I was reviewing medical expenses for legal reasons and needed to confirm recent appointments. The receptionist checked the records. Let me see. Emma had her annual checkup in March. That is the only appointment this year. No other visits, no specialist appointments, no sir. Just the checkup. I hung up and sat in my truck in the parking lot. Jessica had lied about everything. The tutoring did not exist. The dance classes did not exist. The medical expenses did not exist. It was all a scam to get more money out of me. But the worst part was realizing why. I dug deeper into Derek's background. I found public property records showing that Jessica had moved into his house. A 4,000 square foot home in Cherry Creek, one of the nicest neighborhoods in Denver. The house was valued at $1.2 million. Jessica was not paying rent anymore. She was not struggling. Derek was taking care of everything. And they wanted my money on top of it so they would never have to worry about anything. I decided to confront Jessica directly. I called her and surprisingly she answered. We need to talk. About Emma and the child support. Her voice was cold. There is nothing to discuss. You got my lawyer's letter. Either you pay or we go to court. I talked to Emma's school. She is not in tutoring. She is not in dance or gymnastics. There was a pause. That is because we have not started yet. We are planning to enroll her. Planning. You are asking for $3,600 now for things that have not even started. Emma deserves the best. You clearly do not care about her future. I felt my anger rising. I care about her more than anything. But I also care about the truth. I know you are with Derek. I know he is wealthy. Why are you asking me to pay triple when you are living in luxury? How dare you stalk me? My relationship is none of your business. It is my business when you are lying about expenses to take my money. You will pay. The court will make you pay. And if you fight this, I will make sure you never see Emma again. She hung up. I sat there shaking. The threat about losing my daughter terrified me. But I could not let her win with lies. Mr. Patterson and I built our case carefully. We compiled every piece of evidence. Screenshots of Jessica's social media posts showing expensive dinners, vacations, designer clothes. We created a timeline comparing the dates she claimed financial hardship with the dates she was posting about her lavish lifestyle. I provided my bank statements showing I had paid the $1,200 on time every single month without fail. We got written statements from Emma's school confirming she was not enrolled in any paid programs. We obtained medical records from her pediatrician showing only routine care. Mr. Patterson also discovered that Derek's house was public record. Jessica had moved in with him 6 months ago. She was not paying a mortgage or rent anymore. Derek was clearly supporting her financially. This is strong evidence of fraudulent claims, Mr. Patterson told me. But be prepared. Court can be unpredictable. The court date arrived 1 month later. I wore the only suit I owned, a navy blue one I had bought for my wedding almost 10 years ago. My hands were sweating as I walked into the courthouse. Jessica arrived with her lawyer, a sharp-looking woman named Miss Harper, who wore an expensive suit and carried a leather briefcase. Derek came too, sitting in the back row to support Jessica. He gave me a smug look. I ignored him. The judge was Honorable Judge Thompson, a stern-looking man in his 60s with gray hair and reading glasses perched on his nose. Miss Harper went first. Your Honor, my client's expenses have increased dramatically. The child needs quality education, enrichment activities, and proper health care. Mr. Lincoln has a stable job and can afford this increase. It is in the best interest of the child. She made it sound so reasonable, like I was the bad guy for not wanting to triple my payments. Then Mr. Patterson stood up. Your Honor, we have evidence that these claimed expenses do not exist. He presented the school records showing Emma was not enrolled in tutoring, dance, or gymnastics. He showed the medical records proving there were no increased healthcare costs. Then he pulled out the printed photos from social media. Furthermore, Your Honor, Miss Jessica is living a lifestyle far beyond what she claims. She recently moved in with her boyfriend, Mr. Derek, who owns a $1.2 million home and runs a successful tech company. My client believes this is an attempt to extract money for personal use, not for the child's benefit. Judge Thompson took the photos and examined them carefully. He looked at Jessica. Can you provide receipts or enrollment forms for these classes? Miss Harper fumbled with her papers. We were planning to enroll her once the support increase is approved. The judge frowned. So these are not current expenses? No, but they are necessary for the child's development. The law requires current, actual expenses, not hypothetical future expenses. He turned to Jessica. Miss Jessica, are you currently living with Mr. Derek? Jessica shifted in her seat. Yes, but that does not mean. And is he contributing to household expenses? That is our private arrangement. It is relevant to this case. If you have significant financial support from another source that affects the child support calculation. The courtroom was silent. I could hear my own heartbeat. Judge Thompson reviewed the documents in front of him for what felt like an eternity. Then he looked up. I find that the petitioner has not provided sufficient evidence to justify a tripling of child support. The claimed expenses are not substantiated. Furthermore, the petitioner's living situation indicates financial stability, not hardship. The motion to increase child support is denied. Relief flooded through me. I wanted to cry. But the judge was not done. However, I am concerned about the misrepresentation in this petition. Mr. Lincoln, you may file a motion to modify custody if you believe the child's best interests are not being served. For now, the current child support order remains in effect. He banged his gavel. Jessica's face turned red. She stood up and stormed out of the courtroom. Derek followed her. Miss Harper packed up her briefcase without a word. I sat there for a moment, letting it sink in. I had won. Outside, Mr. Patterson shook my hand. You did the right thing. Standing up for yourself and your daughter. Thank you. I mean it. Thank you for believing me. The weeks after the court hearing were strange. Jessica stopped answering my calls. Communication about Emma happened only through brief text messages about pickup and drop-off times. Emma thankfully had no idea about the legal battle. She was just happy to spend time with both her parents. I kept paying the $1,200 every month exactly as before. And I kept being the best father I could be. But I did take Judge Thompson's advice. I filed a motion for shared custody. I asked for 50-50 time with Emma instead of just weekends. I expected Jessica to fight it, but she did not. Maybe she was afraid the court would look deeper into her finances. Maybe she just wanted to move on. Either way, 6 months later, the custody arrangement was modified. I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment so Emma could have her own room. I painted it her favorite color, light purple, and let her pick out decorations. We hung up her artwork from school on the walls. She had a bookshelf full of her favorite stories and a little desk where she could do homework. Emma loved having 2 homes. She never complained. She was just happy to have more time with her dad. And I was grateful for every single moment. I learned a lot through that experience. I learned that love for your child cannot be measured in dollars. It is measured in time, in presence, in showing up. I learned that standing up for what is right, even when it is hard, even when it is scary, is the most important thing you can do. Jessica and Derek. I have no idea if they are still together. I do not check her social media anymore. I do not care about her life. My focus is on Emma, on being present, on teaching her about honesty, hard work, and fairness. I teach her that integrity matters more than money, that doing the right thing is not always easy, but it is always worth it. And I hope that as she grows up, she will remember that her dad never gave up, never backed down, and always chose the truth. Sometimes people will try to take advantage of your love for someone else. They will use guilt manipulation threats. They will make you question yourself and your worth. But the truth always comes out. And when you stand firm, when you fight for what is right, you teach the people you love the most important lesson of all. That integrity matters more than anything. Emma will grow up knowing that her dad never gave up, never backed down, and always chose the truth. And that is worth more than any amount of money. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to manipulate you financially? Have you ever had to stand up to an ex or fight for what was right in court? Drop your story in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, if it made you think about your own life or relationships, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more real stories about real people facing real challenges. Share this video with anyone who might need to hear it. Someone out there is going through something similar, and your share could be exactly what they need to find the courage to stand up for themselves. Thank you for listening to my story. I appreciate every one of you who took the time to hear what I went through. Remember, no matter how hard things get, no matter how impossible the fight seems, the truth is always on your side. Stand firm, fight fair, and never let anyone take advantage of your love. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.